Yeah, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, please confirm you can hear me. All right. Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to class. Welcome to class. Welcome to class. Welcome to class. Yeah, you're all welcome to class. Okay. All right. Cool. That shows that we can all hear whatever I'm saying. You're all welcome to class. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I'm just getting more response. Ha. Someone said it's been a great week. Yes, it is. It's been a great one. It's been a great one. We've been coding, we've been laughing, and then we've been reacting to whatever we are coding. That's actually a very great one. A very great one. A very great one. Yeah, welcome, 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 welcome. Yeah, thank you. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah, welcome, 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 welcome. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. All right. So, yeah, you're welcome to class. We've been discussing React this week, since Tuesday, Thursday, and then today. We've been doing a lot of things with React, and I believe everyone is also making their own research about React. And I believe everyone in the class, like by now, everyone in the class should have something going on with React already. I believe everyone should have something going on with React already. Am I wrong? Please let me know. Am I wrong? Because I just feel everyone should have something going on with React by now. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Hmm. Yeah, good evening. Good evening. So I asked the question now. I want to confirm if I'm wrong with what I just said. Yeah, please let's confirm your end what I said. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Ah, then I want to run my code on React. Showing me. By now it's showing you error. No. I think make back case. Did you reach out? I mean, I'm talking to Adeloti. Did you reach out to anyone about did they say? You should be able to reach out to each other. Those that are done and those that are just starting. You should be able to reach out to each other. That actually solves a lot of problem. That's a good thing. Did you see D? Did you see D? Did you go inside that directory? Did you change your directory? That's actually a good one. Yeah, I guess people are just joining. Okay, 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 okay. So we are waiting for more people, but it's not to be waiting. I just want to hear feedback on how React is actually going and how we are reacting to React to as well. I just want to have a feedback on how it is going on our end. Thank God I had today to rectify my React app. Glory to God. At least it's working now. That's actually a very good step. That's a very good step. It's working. That's very good. Yeah, my day has been good. My day has been good. Thank you very much for asking. Thank you very much for that. Okay. So yeah, so actually asking for a feedback on how we have been reacting to React lately. Since Tuesday we've been bringing React to you back to back, back to back, back to back. So I want to know how it's going on our own, and I want to know how is it going? How is it going? Just let me know in the comment section because the feedback is actually very important. So we know at least a couple of us are online or are on track. You know, yeah, I saw that someone already said it, the person CG. I'm not sure the person is answering you. Thank you very much for posting that. Yeah, I'm still waiting for our feedback. Oh, I'm still waiting for site. It's not going smoothly. Oh, why is it not going smoothly? Why is it not going smoothly? Not going well at all. Ha ha ha. It's not what's going on? Why is it not going well at all? If you are having any issue, you can reach out to each other and solve each other's problem. That's actually a very good way to learn. That's a very great way to learn. You know, it's been challenging. Yes, programming, or let me say this tech thing is actually very challenging. So you face a lot of challenges, then you'll definitely overcome them. Like you will. Someone said my system broke down. So sorry about that. I have not been able to get my own. Eh, they've left you behind though, because I believe a lot of people here, have gone past. Um, I've actually not been following. Okay, you've not been following the class. Oh, no wonder. And you are saying it as if what we've been taking in the class, you don't really get it. It's because you are not following. You've not been following. So you can watch the video. Just start from the day one, then understand how React works. Do you understand? So I believe by now, if I should ask now, so what is the main in crazy journey? But I won't give up. Yeah, you won't give up. Please don't give us assignments now. We are still working on it. Yeah, sure, 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 sure. No problem. All right. So if I should ask us now, so far, what is your definition? I mean, your own personal definition. What not what we call it to you, because you've worked with it. So what is your own personal definition of React? Please, I want to know. I want to know in the comment section, because obviously next week we're actually moving to something. So I want us to like be grounded with React, so we can actually move on to the next thing. The React journey is crazy. Oh, sorry about that. Good evening, Mr. David and Tech Sisters. Yeah, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm still waiting for a response though. I'm still waiting just to know how it is going with us. Just now it's going with us. It makes me know how our web pages work. Very good, very good. It makes you understand how our web pages work. Okay, cool, 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 cool. I'm still waiting for more response. So I'm still waiting. So lost. Hope you are not giving assignment soon. If you are, no, no, we are not. Yesterday, React is like a library that makes it easier for us to combine HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all together. Okay, cool, cool. I know the way I asked the question, I said, I said your own personal definition, and I actually like what I'm saying. It has not been easy, but we are still pushing. Yes, I just know that it is what they use to build Facebook. I didn't know it sound well. He said it's what they use for to build Facebook. React is a JavaScript library. It stands alone. Ha. Please, I don't really understand it stands alone. No. I don't really get that part. That's why I want to know our own definition. React is fun if only have the understanding of what it needs. It shows every error and make you think better. This, yeah. That's it. Christiana Ade Conley. That's one of the major things we React. If you do anyhow with React, all that your errors that can fly in JavaScript, they won't fly when you get to React. They won't fly when you get to React. You are going to see the error like this. So it has a lot of errors. You see a lot of error messages, a lot of them. Yeah, which actually makes you think better. Which makes you think better. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. I'm waiting for more response so we can do an overview. Then we move. It's meant for user interface. Okay. Yeah. Use it for user interface. Okay, cool. UI. That's okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. I'm not getting a lot of response here. Or is it that most of us don't really understand what we have been working with for the past few days? React is a tool that helps me to organize my pages more easier than just HTML. Okay, good, good, good. I'm just asking for our own view of what React is, so we know that okay, at least I have even if you don't get everything we've discussed in React, at least you have some understanding about what it is. You get you have an understanding of what it is. React has components which are built block of any React application. Yes. React is an art of coding HTML, JavaScript for easy reading and understanding. Okay, cool. You know, if you can actually have your own definition to a thing, then that's actually what you are going to hold on to. That's what you are going to hold on to. It helps. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. If you have a depth, like you have a particular thing or a particular way you solve a problem, though it actually works for you. If it works for you, fine. Someone said today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Fumilayo Bamiboye. Okay, that's a shout out to you. That helps us to organize our web page. While we are doing this, I said it earlier, so we know that what we have been doing, we've been working with React, and then we have a good understanding of React. React is a popular JavaScript library that is used in building user interface. Very good, very good, very good, very good, very. React is a JavaScript library. Okay, cool. Cool. React is used for yeah. Yeah. So I'm still waiting for more response. So okay, I think everybody will be able to understand what React is. So if I should ask you now, what's components? What's components? Because it's actually an overview class, and then we're going to look at what we have for you today. So what is components too as well? React is a JavaScript library that helps us to build user interface in a website. Okay, cool. See, all this definition that you guys are giving, all the definition, the thing is, your own definition, I might not really grab everything in your own definition, but you definitely know what you are saying. And the fact that you know what you are saying, that actually works because it solves the problem. And once it solves the problem, there's nothing I can say. So yeah, that's what I want to like hear more response. So my next question is components. Components. That's my next question. Components. Let's now I want to hear our view on components. Okay. Component is a building block of any code that are what? They are reusable. That's very good. They are reusable. That's very good. Component is like, okay, go, 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 go. I'm still waiting for more response. So I'm still waiting for more response. All right, components are like JavaScript functions that accept arbitrary inputs. Another level. That's good. That's good. We write component inside the file by using function. Good, 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 good. So I said it's going to be like some a part of the class is going to be more like a brainstorm section. So I want to ask a quick question. A quick question. So a quick question. Yeah. Since it looks like we now understand how components work. So if I should ask a question now, inside the file, let's say I have home, or let me just give it we can give it any name, just give it any name in your head. And then I have two functions inside. So if I have those two functions inside now, can I call that a component? Remember, I have I have different function in them. Component help us to reuse code. Yeah. So my question is, you have a file, then you have two functions inside. How do you use a particular function outside? How do you use them? How do you use the particular, like one of the function? You have to function inside the file. How do you use that function outside? How do you use it? Or how do you call it? This 17 minutes gone. By using by using okay. Hey, I'm still going to come to props though. I'm still going to come to props, but it's not by using props. You did you hear what I said? What I asked is you said components. You use function, right, for components. Now when we say components now, it means a function. Now you might be thinking, okay, one file means one file is a component. Now if I have one file and I have two functions inside, how do I use, when you are working, you export one function, and when you export the one function, that's what you use basically. But if you now have two functions inside the file, how do you access one of them? That's my question. Because we said we programming basically and React, it actually makes us think better. So I believe by now everyone should okay, cool. Someone said I export it. Yes, that's exactly what you do. You export it. You export it. Let's say I have two functions. I gave one home, and I gave the other one, I gave it about. Now, any of the function I want to use, if I add export default on home, it is home. That function is going to be returning that component will be returning the home function. Now, if I should export about, it will be, if I export about, it will be giving me about function. Do you get? Okay, cool. I just want us to think, all these things that you've been working on, you should be able to try things out. Forget about errors. If I believe by now, each and like everyone in the class, we should be able to have like at least 3 React application. I mean, by now, we should have at least 3 React application that we are just testing on, testing different things on, testing. I believe by now we should have like three, at least three, because that shows that you really mean business. If you don't have up to three, you're not doing anything. No, you're not doing anything. You should have at least three for you to test everything. Because if you don't test, how do you now want to like work with it? If you don't test, how do you want to work with it? There's no way you'll be able to work with it. Someone had an one issue. So the issue was they were meant to write capital HOME, capital HOME when they are creating their file. Now they wrote the person wrote HOME with small letter. Now when they wrote HOME with small letter, now the person now changed it, like they renamed it to capital H after creating. That won't work. That will not work. You know, all these things we should have experiment it, so we know that okay, this is actually what we work, this is what we work. Once you create your components like this, if you create it with small letter, sorry, if you create it with small letter, obviously you know it won't work. Someone said that was me. You know it won't work. You know it won't work. So let's try as much as possible. So just try things out. Try there's no harm in trying. There's no harm in trying. If you come across one issue, just look at it very well. Oh yeah, this issue, what will I do to you so I can solve you? Exactly. You have to return it because you have to because he wants to give it a particular name. Definitely, that name you can't use it because if I can show you the process of how you want to like come across start using the name, you might get confused. You might get confused. Do you get? It happens to me. Yes, you have to. You really have to. You definitely have to for you. Sir, but why is this small letter not accepted in React? Because that is the convention. That is the convention. Do you get? That's the convention. That's why it's not accepted. That's the convention. You know, we said programming language, we have rules and regulation. Do you get? We have rules and we have regulation we follow. So that's the convention. That's why it's like that. Yeah. So if you have any issue with it, please make sure you just try a lot of try them out. Try them out. Try them out. Please make sure just try them out. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for saying that too. Thank you very much. Is a readable piece of code. We've asked this question before. So my next question, yeah. So we are actually brainstorming before we move over to the class. So my next question is how do you use props, or what do you understand by props? What do you understand by props? What do you understand by props? Please let me know. Let's make it fast so we can move on to what we have today. I just want to like get everyone along. Do you get? Because some of the things we are discussing now, I believe a lot of people don't know. Some people don't know that, oh, this is actually how it is. This is actually how it is. That's why I'm doing all this so we can discuss and then move over to the class for today. So props is used. Props is a problem. I beg you. Props means property of an element. Very good. Props are properties. Props is used to avoid repetition of code. Yeah, true. Yeah, props is used to avoid repetition of props is used for code readability. Very good. Passing data from parent component to a child component. That is just it. That is just it. Props is like an argument passed inside a function. That shows that you guys really understand this thing. That shows that you really have a good understanding. I love the response. All the response I'm seeing, I'm actually liking everything. Yeah, yeah. That shows that we have a good understanding. That's true. Yeah. Props is used for code readability, passing data from parent component to a child component. Props is like argument passed inside a function. By now, everybody should know what argument means and what parameter means. Do you get? So I believe the person will be able to correct themselves now. Person will be able to see for me to mention what argument means and what parameter, what they mean. So I'm still waiting for more response. I'm still waiting for more people. Props means properties used to pass data. Okay, very good. You use them to pass data. You use props. They are like arguments that are used for passing data from. This person they duplicated what this other person said, and the person is a bit wrong. The person is a bit wrong, but the person definitely understand what what she typed. The person understand what she typed. Do you get? The person knows what's the person that typed it. Okay, good. Still waiting for more response. Okay. So yeah, the next thing I want to ask is what do you understand by router? What do you understand by router? When we say router in React, what do you understand? Are like attributes that can be passed to another component as the value of the attribute. So long you actually understand what you are saying, you are very, very cool. So what do you understand by router? What do you understand by router? When I say routing, like routing, what do you understand by routing? In theory, we have some understanding. The challenge arises when it comes to practical writing. We want to become senior dev at the speed of light. So we have some understanding. Challenge arises when it comes to practical writing. Yeah. So the reason why obviously, as we are explaining, we do write code so as well. And then any code we write, you definitely see them. If you didn't see them, you call my attention to it. I'll go back to that particular thing and then explain it again. So fine. If you don't have a good understanding of what you want to do, writing the code is going to be very difficult, because you have to understand the concept behind what you want to do. You have to know the problem you want to solve before you start working. If you don't understand the problem, there's no how you want to provide a solution to it, and your solution is by coding. So that's why we are bringing this. So router is used for managing routes in React. Cool. Because for example, I asked how does routing, how does it work? Obviously, when you want to start routing, like when you want to start doing routes in your React application, obviously, I want to start routing. That's what I want to do. So routing means moving from one place to another. If you don't know the meaning, there's no how you want to start writing the code. Do you get? There's no how you want to start writing the code. That's why I'm doing this. I like a link that is used to navigate from one component to another. Exactly. Because if you don't understand what routing means now, like the way I asked now, there's no how you want to start writing the code. So you have to know, then also code as well. In fact, let me tell you, in software development, you think more than you write code. You tend to think more than you write code, because you can't just say, oh, you want to start writing code before thinking. No, you don't do that. You think before you write code. Do you get? You think, you plan out everything you want to do. So you are like, by thinking now, you've streamlined the number of hours you are going to spend writing code. If I want to solve a particular problem, I know, okay, what am I going to need? Okay, this is the functionality I'm going to use. Okay, these are the amount of component I'm going to create. So when I go to my VS Code, instead of using, let's say 12 hours coding, the process of thinking has actually streamlined my the amount of hours I'm going to use to code, because I have everything down. I know what I want to do. The only thing I just need to do, solve the problem. And how do I solve the problem? I go to my laptop, go to my VS Code, and then start writing what I want, whatever I want to write. It's not as if as I'm writing code, I'm thinking. If I'm writing code and I'm thinking, it's going to be a catastrophe. It's going to be a problem, because as you're writing it, another idea might come to your head that will make you change the code again. Then you start going back and forth, and that's what you want to avoid. Yeah, so that's why we are doing the objective flag, so we can also know, okay, the objective aspects. That's our God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. It shows that you were in class when we did algorithm. It shows that you're in class when we did algorithm. It shows that you're in class. Because if you don't write the algorithm, there's no how you want to write your code. You can't write code and write algorithm later. You write algorithm before code. Routing allows navigation between different components without reloading the entire page. You were right at some point, but in the last part, when you're talking about reloading, it's actually a thing we use for. Well, you're actually right though, or at least you understand what you just type. The fact that you understand what you just type, that's a pass mark, because it shows that you actually understand what you just type. Yeah, it shows that you understand everything you just type. Okay, so the next question I'm going to be asking is about so generally what we did yesterday was when we say performance, I'm just asking a general question. When we say performance, what do you understand by when we say performance? Like what do you think about performance and optimization? So I'm just asking generally, what do you think? Still waiting for more response. I'm still waiting for user experience. Very good. Very good. It is the latency of the web page, that is how fast a page is. Very good. Yes, 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 yes. More. I'm still waiting for more response. How to load your page or pictures quickly. Performance helps to improve user experience, prevent slow app. Exactly. Performance is like efficiency of the code. Optimizing application makes it more accessible. Very good. Very good. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Very good. Yeah. It's an action of the web page. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So everyone, you can now see that you are gradually becoming a senior dev now. See, another thing is, some people don't know how to write code, but if they explain the code to you, you will understand. And also, that's actually one kind of niche in tech. They can analyze the problem. They are very good with the algorithm aspect. They know all these things, all the algorithm. They don't write code, but they can give you a good algorithm that when you put that algorithm down into coding, there's no how your code will not work. Your code will definitely work. That's actually one niche too. That's why I said we think more than we write code. Is the efficiency of a web page. Exactly. Because you don't want to build an application that is slow. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And please don't do that. Because what's the essence of using React? Man, your application is going to be slow. How reliable your app is exactly in terms of okay, very good. That shows that we actually we followed yesterday's class too. That's very good. Very good. Has to do with how reliable your app is in terms of performance and execution. Very good. So we all did well. This actually shows that at least we are we are we are becoming React experts. We are moving forward. This actually a proof that we are moving forward. For us at least, for us to be able to understand some aspects, even though some people are saying it, they don't really understand the coding. Someone said maybe I should try that niche. If you try it, it's good. It's good too. But just know that those that are in that niche, they know that their code, their algorithm will definitely work. So yeah, so you have to make sure that you can also write the code too, and it will work. You have to make sure you write the code and it will work. Okay, so I believe there's no question before we move to today's main thing. Although what we just did now is also part of the main thing, though. It's part of the main thing. Someone say you don't understand the yesterday's class. Yesterday's class that we did performance optimization. That's what you guys did yesterday, right? Props is a read-only value that are passed from a parent component to a child component. You are just bringing different definition. That's very good. You are giving it your own personal definition. That shows that you know this thing. That shows that you know it. That shows that you know it. Cool. Please, so what we did in class, see, for those that don't really join class every day or this thing, what we do in the comment section, there's a lot of things you can learn in the comments. Or if you are just joining, just go up in the comment section, just check everything we have been talking about. You will see different answers. You will see different answers. You will see different things we'll be discussing. The comment section actually helps. Like today, I can recommend the comment section for you. For those that did not really understand how this thing works, how some of the things they don't really get, the comment section actually works for you very well. To work for you very well today. Can see people are giving strong definition of what props, of what React, of what routing, of what we've discussed of how components too, how components works. We've discussed all these things today. So yeah, we can now move to what we have for you today. So let me escape. So yeah, what we have what we want to look at today is we want to look at context API. Basically, that's what we want to look at. Context API. That's what we want to look at. So there are two things you can actually use. You can either use context API or use Redux. So Redux is going to be on next week. So we'll look at context API today, how you can actually use them. So let me just explain what context API is. Then we now move to the coding aspect. Then we ask ourselves questions and all. Okay, so what is context API? So basically, context API is a React feature that provides a way to pass data through the component tree without having to pass props manually. at every level. The reason why I asked props last like now is because we are doing context API today, and context API works more like props. It works similar to props. So you can see it here. He said you are trying to avoid passing props the way you used to pass it manually. So that's actually what you are doing. So it is useful when data. It is useful when data needs to be accessible by many components, avoiding props drilling. What I mean by props drilling is, you are passing props to a lot of them there, and that's what we want to avoid in this. That's what we want to avoid here. Do you get? So yeah, why are we now using context API? Why are we using context API here? So let's see the major reason why we are using this context API. So when we have deeply nested components, passing props through every layer can become cumbersome. Obviously, yeah, we can actually confirm that. We can confirm that. So the context API simplifies this by providing a global way to share data directly with the component that needs it. So we are going to be looking at how we can actually work with context API now. So let me go over to my screen. Let me share my screen. So I will share my VS Code screen so we can actually get started. Okay, so okay. So while we are doing the whole class and everything, the whole revision thing, I was trying to run my application. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you are going to get it. You are going to get it. I will reach out to reach out to Miss Toba Cares. I'll reach out today. Yeah, I'll reach out today. Yes, I'm sharing my screen already. Okay, cool. So yeah, this what we have here is what we discussed. That was when we are doing props. That's when we are doing when we are doing routing from one place to another. This is what we discussed the last class. Okay, so we now want to look at how context API work. So when you are working with props before, look at it again. So when we are working with props, the thing is you come here, you create whatever you want to create, you pass in the props to this place, to the component. After passing it to the component, then you go inside that component, the child component, and then you use it. For example, so let's say I want to pass a data. So I'll just put const name equals to, if I just have this as David here. So if I want to pass this as a props, I'll come here to, okay, let's say I want to put it inside my about. So I'll come here, I'll say I'll call it about equals to, so what do I put inside? I will say name. I'll say about equals to name. So now I can now what? I can now make use of this about in my child component. So let's see how I can use this about in my child component. So I'll go over, you can see it's imported inside about. So I'll go inside about here. So from here, I can now say something like this. I can say my name is, then I can come inside. You can see props is actually passed in here already. So I can come in here and start using whatever I want. So I can call props dot about now. So I can say props dot about. So if I do props dot about now, it's actually going to I want to like see where am I running it on the browser. Okay. Obviously now I won't be showing my browser now because we've done, so your screen is not clear, it is blurry. Please, can we all see my screen? Please let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Someone said it's blurry view. If it's blurry, you might need to increase your video quality. I guess that should solve the issue. Thank you very much. They've confirmed they can actually see my screen. So yeah, So that's actually how props work. So now if I want to use in my app.js, if I want to use this props, if I want to pass this data now, if I want to pass it to all these components, let's say for instance, I give an example of Facebook, and the example I give that day is that we have a particular we have our profile picture. When you open Facebook on your laptop, you will notice that your profile picture appears almost everywhere. What I mean by almost everywhere, probably on the right hand side at the top, you see your profile picture there. You see on the left hand side, you see your profile picture there. In where you want to add story, you see your profile picture there. Now, when you want to comment, you also see your profile picture there. So you can see I've seen your profile picture in many places, which is actually where our component, which is where it actually comes in, that you can actually use them. So now, when we're now discussing props now, properties mean, oh, you are actually passing data. You want to pass data. Okay, this data, I want to use it. Now, I want to use this particular data inside about. I want to use it inside home. I want to use it inside contact us. Now, how do I make it? I will just write it once and then it will be global. How do I make that happen? That is when you now start passing. That's when you now start passing. You can see your screen. Thank you very much for it. Okay, thank you very much for saying that. Okay, so that's when we now start passing props. Now, we can now start passing it one after the other. I will come inside about contact us. I'll come and put, okay, I will say about. I'll pass this particular props. Now, that is what we want to avoid. That is why we are now using what? We want to look at how context API, how it works, how context work. That is, use context, how it works in React. So the first thing I just want to give us a breakdown. So the first thing you want to do with context API is that you create context. So after creating context, did I use context? After creating context, the next thing is what? You provide the context. You provide it and then you use. You create, you provide, and you use. Create, provide, and use. You can also do it this way. You can create, use, and provide. You can create it, use it, and then provide it. But note that you cannot use it first and then start creating. And then start creating, or you provide it first and then start creating. You can create, use, provide, or you what? Create, provide, and use. That's what you can do here. Create, provide, and use. Now, if you have a very good understanding of this now, that means context should not be one kind of hard thing for you, because you already know the step. The first thing you need to do is what? Create it. After you've created it, the next thing is to use. And after using, it's very important for you to provide it. Or you can create, you can provide, and then you go and use it. Do you get? That's actually the ways of how to use your context. So now let's now see. We said we create first. So how do I create context? Create, provide, use, or create, use, provide. Someone says CPU or COP. Very good. CPU or COP. Hey, I can put that in my head. Context, CPU or COP. Create, use, provide. Create, provide, use. That's very good. That's very good. That's a very good abbreviation. That's actually very good. Okay, so now how do I create my context now? How do I create it? So you can decide to put your context in a folder called context, or if you are not working on a very large application, which we are not doing right now, if you are not working on a large application like what we have now, so what you want to do is to create the context inside your src folder. So I'll click on new file. So I'll do user context, user context.js, user context.js. So I will enter. So now this is not component though. We are trying to work with context here. So after creating it, now you can see I've created it now. So what do I put inside what I just created? What do I put inside? Now the first thing you want to put inside here, the first thing is after creating the context, the first thing you want to make sure you want to put inside is what? You want to put your your create context from React. So how do you import it now? So for you to import it, you do import create context. You can see it here, import create context. So you can see we've imported create context here. I'm just trying to see if nobody has any question in this thing, because I want us to get all this like at once. So now that I've created the context, now what do I want to put inside this thing, inside the context I just did? Because I just imported the create context. Now I need to use that create context. I need to use it. So how do I make use of it? So then that is when I will now come here. I'll come here. So I'll say, let me just let's have our export first. Let's export it so we don't forget. So because we are not using RFCE for this one. Note, so we are not using RFCE for this one. So I can say user context. User context. Now, yeah, what do I need to put now? I imported create context here. If you look at it, I imported create context. Now it's now the create context I will use here. So I'll just put create context. Then inside it, I can put none. I will just leave this down. I'll just put this down because I'm not passing any data inside it yet. I'm not passing any data inside it yet. So now this is how you create your context. First thing, you import create context. The next thing is what? You export the context. So now this is the name of the context you just did. User context. That is the name of the context you just did. So now let's now follow the route of using. Let's follow the route of using. So let's follow the route of using. So now how do I use my context? How do I use it now? So for me to use the context I created just now, all I will just need to do, I will go to where I want to use it. So I'll go to where I want to use it. So okay, I think I skipped this browser. Okay, I think I skipped it. Okay. Why did I skip it? Wow. Okay. So for example, let's see. Sorry, I was working on my DC. Okay, so let's say for example, let's say we want to pass a profile, user profile. We have user profile here. So I'm just using this one as an example. Just came to mind. Let me use this as an example. So now this user profile here, I want to pass in somebody's name and somebody's age. I want to pass it here. That's what I want to do here. And then I've created my context. Now, the next thing for me to do, I've created it. I should be able to use it now. That's the route we are actually following. So now, the first thing you need to do is that you need to import the context you created. So what's the name of the concept we just created? So we call it user, I think we called it user context. Okay, this is it. User context here. You can see it here. User context. Okay, so after importing this user context now, the next thing for us to do is to what? Because we are saying we are using, is to use. And for us to use the context now, for us to use context, we have to import that one from React. So I'll do use context. Use context. That one is from React. Look at this one. The one on line 2 is the one we created. Now, this one is how you can actually use your context. Remember, on user context, what we used there was we used create context from React. But when we wanted to use when we want to use it now, we have to import use context from React. You can see that we have two separate things. When we are creating, we did create context. When we want to use, we imported use context. So now, how do I undo that here? So how I need to undo that, I'll just come here and put let me put a variable. So let me just call the variable user equals to, let's say, use context. So now this is where I will now say I want to use the context. So now that I said, you can see I'm using use context here. So you remember that we've created one context, which is user context. Now, how do I use that context? I will now put it inside this place. That is this place now. The data I'm passing here is that I'm passing user context here. user context, because I just told this use context is that what I'm using is user context. That is the context I'm using here. So please note what you are doing. That's what I'm basically telling this here. That's what I'm telling it here. I'm telling that, hello, I'm using user context. Because when I click on it, it took me to this user context here. See, when I clicked on it, when I over and then I click on it, control click on it, you can see it took me to this context here, the one we created. Okay, cool. So now that we are not using now. So how do we now use it? Like basically, how do we use it basically? So now I can now come here and we have my p tag. So what we want to do, we want to work with name first. So now I have a variable here called user. I can come here and say user. Now if I should say user, the context I'm passing is going to be an object. So let me just say dot name here, but I won't say because we don't have anything like name. You don't have any. That's why I said you can do it in a two-way direction. You can do cop and you can do CPU. That is create, use and provide, or create, provide, use. Now we've not really have enough thing on what we are actually working on what we are providing. We've not have enough thing. That's why I'm using dot name here. But let me just take it out. Let me just leave it as dot. So now let's now go to our app.js. So now for my app.js, now this is where I'm going to create. I'm going to provide the context I just did now. So now in our app.js, remember I have const name equals to David. Const name equals to David. So now this const name equals to David here, I can now what? I can pass it in as the context to all these things here. So how do I do that now? How do I do that here? So what I just need to do here is to say, sorry, I'll come here, import user context. I've imported user context here. So on our let's say I don't need it on my navbar. If I need it on my navbar, I will have put it on my navbar, but I don't need it for now. So I can say user context dot provider, user context dot provider space, I'll put value. So what is the value of the context you are doing? So the value I want to pass inside is name. This name here, that's what I'm passing inside. You can either pass this name or you're passing an object. For example, let's say you want to pass in an object, because that's actually what we are going to be working with most times, because obviously nobody's going to tell you to come and be passing normal variable inside inside like passing normal variable. You can't be passing normal variable. You definitely pass object. So let me just use object as an example. Let me use object as an example. So I have this now. This is my object. So now my object, I can have name, then I can have this name here. I can say David, comma, then I can say role. I can say, let me say instructor. Let me just put instructor here. All right. So now this object I created now, this cost nobody has any question. All right, sir. Okay. Okay, so they say they are following. All right, so we are going to be going on break. We will go on break in 2 minutes time. In 2 minutes time, we are going to go on break. Please make sure what we just did, because I don't want to continue. Then we now come back and start it. Create your context. After creating your context, go and use your context. Do you get? Just use it. Just hold on it. You can say I didn't save, because if I save it now, it's going to cause error, and I want to avoid that. That's why I have it here. That's why I didn't save it. Then I'm updating my provider here. So we are going on a break now. Please, let's use that break to mark our attendance. Let's use the break to mark our attendance, please, because it's very important. Let's use it to mark our attendance. So we don't thank you very much. Please make sure you mark your attendance during the break. That one is very, very important, please. Let's take note. Let's take note of that. Yeah, so we are back. So yeah, I saw the question. So someone said we are back to class. So for those we are back, we are back, we are back, we are back, we are back. So yeah, there's a question here. So the person asked, can we create, use, and provide in the same file? No, you cannot use create. You can see when I wanted to create, I used a different file to create. Now, when I wanted to use, I went to where I want to use it. That's where I went to use it. Then when I wanted to provide, I went to my app.js so I can provide it generally to everybody. Do you get? So you don't do that. You don't do you don't create, you don't use, you don't provide in one file. So yeah, let's go. Let me go back to the next code. All right, so back to welcome back to class. So yeah, the first thing we did here, we created, right? That's the first thing we did here. So after creating, we imported create context from React. The next one is we imported, we gave it a variable name here. We call it user context because actually a good practice. That's I just give it the same name I called the file here. So I did create context here. So after creating the context, we follow the progression of using. So I went to use context, right? So from here, I imported two things here. The first thing I imported here is I imported my user context, the one I created manually. That is the file I created. Then the second thing the third thing, second, that on line 3. So the second thing I did is to import user context. That's the second thing I did. I imported user context. So yeah, so after importing it, then on line 6, I want to use the context I imported just now. That is basically what this line 6 means. That is, I gave it a variable. Then inside the variable, I'll say use context. Do you get? Because this use context, it accepts context. You get? It accepts context. That's actually why I'm using it this way. So I pass in use context here. I pass in user context here. So now I said we can start using it here, but because we have not provided, but it all works all the same. It works all the same, provided that you're using the same name. If I should put David.name here, user.name here, we know what we are going to do. But because I just want to explain why we are having it that way, and I believe by now everyone should be able to like differentiate between object, array, and the likes. You know how to use objects. You know how to access data from an object. You know how to go through an object and pick out information. If you don't know, please go and learn how to do all those things because it's actually going to be very, very useful. All right, so let me do this again. So the online 23, what I did was I did user context dot provider, user context dot provider. Then from the provider, I can now start working. So now I said value equals to name. Now, where is the name coming from? This particular name here. But because I said what we are doing, what we are working with, we won't be working with passing variable to as a context. We might not be passing variable as a context because it doesn't really make sense. What you pass mostly is an object. You can see this object here. You can pass an object to like as a context. So now I'll pass user here. So I've passed user here. So you can see is this user. Let me click on it. You can see is this user that I'm passing here. So now after doing this, now the next thing you want to do is to close it. So after closing it, then you will now wrap it. You can see I've closed it here. So I will wrap all my routes like this. All my routes. I will wrap all my routes inside. So I'll just I'll format my code well. So I will wrap them inside this provider. So that means all these components here, they have access to this user, provided that they use it. So this is what we just this is what we mean by providing. Basically, this is what we mean by providing. Don't worry, I'm going to go over it again so we're able to understand it. So this is what we'll be providing for those that are really, for those that actually got it at first. So after I save this now, the next thing I want to do is go and use it here. So now after this, I can now say, you know, it's an object now. So I can say dot name here. If I say dot name, you can say I have dot name here. So let's save and see if it actually reflects on the browser. So let me just escape. I'll go to my browser here. So localhost, I didn't copy the link earlier. I didn't copy the link. I didn't copy the link earlier. I didn't copy it. So okay, I've copied it now. So let me go to my browser. Where is my browser? Okay. Yeah, I'm coming. Okay, I didn't even share the screen. So if you notice, I'm still working with what we have before. I'm working with what we have before. So let me stop sharing my screen. Let me share my browser. Let's go to my browser so we can start working from there. Okay, so yeah, if you can recall, this this is actually what we've been building all this while. We have been using this as an example all this while. So if you look at this very well now, you can see that we have let me make it big. Let me make it big. Okay. So if you can look at it very well, we have settings and we have user profile. Obviously, we all understand that this is actually a nested what? Someone should tell me in the comment section, please. A nested what? Please tell me what do we call this user profile settings? We called it one name. Nested route. Nested route. Nested route. Okay, very good, very good. That shows that we have a good understanding of what nested route means. So this user profile is a nested route, right? So if I click on it here, you can see that it actually it brought out this thing. Let me go back. Let's go back. So if you look at it here, when I clicked on it now, it brought out the profile page. Now, after bringing the profile page, now what this David here is what we passed in, is the data we passed in to it. Please, is that clear? This David here, is it clear? Please let me know. Like, you understand what just happened now. Let me know you understand what just happened now. Let me know. I want to hear our feedback. Like, just understand what just happened. I just want to understand. So when I'm explaining the code again, someone said please come again. I just want to understand what just happened. So when I'm writing the code again, then you'll be able to like, oh, this is. Look at this now. Look at this user. Look at this let me go to let me click on. So look at it now. This is actually a nested route, right? So when I click on it, it's meant to give me whatever is inside the user profile, right? So now inside the user profile, I've passed in a context here, because actually we have passed context. So now if I click on user profile now, obviously the reason why it's showing like this is because it's a nested. Admin is linking to another page. It will be giving us this on another page, but because it's nested, that's why it's showing this way. All right. So if you look at it very well now, you can see that name is now bringing David. Now this David is coming from our context. So now what we just did now, we just use our context API to pass in data inside the user profile. That's what we just did. Okay, but okay, don't worry. Okay, no, sorry. Is this what I have on the browser here? Is it clear? What I just explained on the browser, is it clear? If the code is not, oh, I understand the lot. Meaning, to understand. Don't worry, you will see the code flow now. You understand the logic. Very good. That's actually what I want us to understand. Just understand the logic here based on what we have or what we are seeing, based on what we are seeing on the screen. Please let me know. Let me know if what I explained there, if it's clear. Please let me know. Because if people are not saying anything now, I just want to know, I want to confirm if the logic is clear to us, please, so we can move on. Someone says, sir, please, the name wasn't in the provider. I am a little bit confused. Okay, no problem. I will explain that. I will explain that. I'm going to show my VS code. I'm going to show my VS code. I will show my VS code. I just want to confirm that what I just explained in this browser here, we all understand it. This David that is here is coming from the context we passed in. Do you get? The David I have there is coming. I'm not saying you should understand the code. Understand what we did. Like, understand the result of what you want to get. Then we'll now start writing the code of what we want to get. Okay, someone said I should explain from the this thing again. So let's go back to my let's go back to my so let me explain from here again. The first thing I did was to create my context. Where's my screen not coming up? Please hold on, I'm coming up. I don't know why it's not coming up. All right, so don't worry, my screen is up now. My screen is up now. So what I did here, we created context first. We came to our SRC, our source folder, or our source directory. We created user context.js. After creating the user context.js here, the next thing we did is what we imported create context. After doing this, the next thing is what you want to your create context, you want to wrap it in a more like a variable. Do you get? So you will now export that variable. That is what you'll be using. So that is what you'll be using. That's what you'll be importing wherever you are going, because that is what you just created. So you've created here. So after creating the context here, you will go over to your where you want to use it. So where I want to use my is user profile. So So now in your user profile here, you can see that I have your user profile page on the browser that time, and I have name. So now in your user profile here, you want to use that context that you create, like the context you created. So how do you use it? We have a function called use context. So now it is this use context that allows us to use context. That means it allows us to use a context we've created. That is the context that we've created this context. This will allow us, it will allow us to use it. Do you get? So now, since this is actually allowing us to use our context, the next thing we want to do is that we imported the user context, that is the one we created. That's what we did here. The context we created, this is it. We imported it here. So after the import now, then we now went to line 6 to say, oh, hello, we want to use this context. So now we wrapped it inside a variable called user. So you can see const user equals to use context. Then we pass in that context, that is the one we've created. So you can see this one is saying, hello, which context am I using? Then you say, oh, this is the context you are using. Now that you've passed in this context now, that is, this is what I'm using, then you can now go ahead and start using it. You know, if you are working with props, this is where you pass your props. You pass inside your function as a parameter here, as an argument here, sorry, as a parameter here. Then the other one, the one in your app.js, will now be the parameter. So now you just did that here. So after doing that here, then you can now start using it here. So you know, let me don't worry. When we are back, we'll now start using another one. So now we've created. After creating, the next thing we want to do is that we want to use. We've used it now. So after using, then what? Providing, which is the CUP that the person suggested the other time. So CUP. So how do you provide that context? Now, for us to provide the context here, we import user context. I mean, the one we created, that's the one we just imported here, the one we created. So now this user context now, we've imported it, then we can now start using it. So now I was saying something earlier. I said you don't just pass like a normal variable to context, because it doesn't really make sense. When we are talking about data, you know, most times what you work with JSON, and JSON is the same thing with objects. You get to work with JSON. So JSON is more like array of objects. You might have it that way. So that's why I created a JSON data here, like a JSON data here, which is an object here. So creating the objects now, I want to pass it to my context. Do you get? So now, you know, remember, this is our user context. That is what I called the name of the context that I created, user context. So you have to provide that context now. So I will now do user context dot provider. User context dot provider. Now that I've provided it now, what is now the value of that context? What is the value? Do you get? What is the value of the context you just provided? That is now what we just did here. So the value is user. You can see that is user here. See, this is it. User. You can see. I just called it user because that's the object, because it's the object I'm passing inside. So I just pass in the object here. Note that this user context here, I wrapped it inside. I use it to wrap all my routes, so it will be available. I can use it everywhere. So if I want to use it somewhere else, we are going to see how we can actually use it somewhere else. So now, basically, where I'm using it now, I'm using it in our profile. If it was our normal props, I would have come here to come and start passing manual data, which doesn't make sense, which is actually what we want to avoid. Do you get? That's what we want to avoid. So that's why we have it this way. So now, using this now, that means all home can access this, settings can access this, user profile can access this, about can access this, contact us can access that that value. Do you get? That's why we call it a provider. is providing it for all what we wrapped it inside, all the components we wrap inside it. That's actually what it's doing. So let's now go back to, you remember, these are our objects here. We have name and we have role. So let me go back to our where I'm using it. So you can see I can easily call user.name. If I call user.name, definitely it's going to what? Call this name here. So now the next one I want to call is role. So I can come here as well and put my role. I can say user.role, user.role. So now that I say user.role, please, do you understand the process now? Like the flow I wrote now. Do you understand it? The flow I wrote just now. Do you understand it? Let me know. It should be very clear now. Someone said yes. Okay, good. You just want, yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay, very good. Okay, okay. Someone said it is better now. It is better now. It is better now. Very good, very good, very good. So now I don't need to show my browser anymore. We now understand it. We know that it's going to show role. Or do I still need to show my browser? Please tell me, oh, do I still need to show my browser? You said now that you use you can still use props. You can still use props. You can still use props. So you can still use props. So now that we've used this now, let's try different things out. Let's try different things out. So now that we have we used this context in our user profile, let's see if we can also use it somewhere else. So let's say I want to use it inside about. If I want to use it inside about, you can see this one is just normal thing that we just did earlier. So if I want to use it inside about now, the first thing I want to do when I want to use it, the first thing I want to do is to what? Import my use context and then import the context. You can see that it's more like I'm doing it again. So I'll do import user context, user context. So after importing user context, what's the next thing I want to import? I want to import use context. So now that I've imported use context, what's the next thing now? The next thing is to what? So I'll come here, I'll do const, let me give it to my user. So someone will not say, why are we only using user? We are not using something else. So I can call it my user. It's a variable name. You can give it any name. So my user. So if I give it my user now, I can now say use context. Then which context are we using here? The name of the context is what? User context. So after passing in user context in that place, then I can now come over to this place. So I can say I can have my, let's say I can have my p tag here. I can now say okay, the role is, I can say the role is, then I'll come here, I will say my user dot name, my user dot name. The reason why I'm using name now is because I have name in that place. I have name in my context. When I created it, I have name there. That's why I'm using it this way. So I believe what we've done in class today, I believe is very clear to everybody. Wait though, but I just wait. Which one is not? I want us to get it all at once, like now, so we can end the class for now. I want everybody to get it. we created, we use, and then we provided it. It's very clear now. Simple, very simple too as well. Very, very simple. Because next week we are going to be looking at Redux. Please let me know. Let me know. Do we all understand it now? And if you don't understand it very, very, very well, make sure that this weekend you need to study. Can I show where I created the name context? Where I created the name context, or do you mean where I created the context? The context as a look at it. This user context as a that's what I did here. You can say I created it. Then my you mean did it here. This is what I passed this place. Passed only let's say I pass the name variable there. It is telling me, oh sorry, why did I take that out? If I pass thing name here, there will be error here, because the error is that I don't have anything like dot role dot this thing. Let me pass in this. If I pass in this now, this name, if I pass in this name now, what I'm going to be seeing on my browser is what we have here. But it doesn't make sense to pass only, let me take it back. It doesn't make sense to pass variable. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we are using user here. Please, is that very clear? I just want to know if it is clear so we can. I thought you said where you wrap it using use context about so can access it. So why are we rewriting it in the about file? He said we didn't rewrite it in the about file. We are using it. We are using it. If we did not provide it, if we didn't provide it in the, let me go back. So if we didn't provide it for let's say one of our routes is outside of it. If one of our routes here is outside it, then inside our about like this now, if we say we want to use it, when we use it, you can see that we provided it in the this thing. If we did not provide it, there's no way we can actually use it in our about. That's the work of the provider. Do you get? That's the work of the provider. Please, is it clear now? We are not, we said we create, we use, and we provide. It is 3 steps. Creating, using. You can use it anywhere so long you provided it for that place. We are after using it in our about, we need to make sure that it is provided for about component use. We need to make sure it's provided. So please, is it very clear now? So we can end the class because that's actually what we want to discuss today. How to work with context. I'm even happy we are able to get it very, very fast. Okay, so the work of the provider. See, normally when we say provider, we know that provider is the one providing the context. Do you get? Provider is the one providing the context. When you say provider, someone that is giving providing, that is giving you things. Do you get? That is probably meeting a particular need. Do you get? So that's actually what provider is doing there. So I believe we don't have any other question. Please let me know if you have question. before we end the class for this week. And I really want us to like practice very, very well. I really want us to practice very well. Please ask your question or ask your question. So I believe since we are not asking any question, I believe we don't have any question. What we did today, it is clear. It is very, very clear. Sir, can I know why I'm having error with use context? The major reason why you're having error with use context is that use context is that probably you're not importing it from React. How do I return my React on the browser after installation? How do I rerun my React on the browser after installation? After you installed, you have to do npm start. After doing npm start, once your app is running, you can do localhost, then column, then you put 3000. Localhost column 3000. That's what you do. Sir, it is important. It is important. You're having error with it. If you look at what we did today, we didn't have to import anything. We are not importing anything. It actually comes with React. I don't know what's going on. Why are you having error with it? I really don't know. Uh, you can paste it on the Telegram community, so we can all solve it from there. So please, I just want to know from the majority what we did today. Is it clear? Please let me know if what we did today is clear. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Mine showed webpack comparison. It is not showing. That means it's running then. It's clear. I'll figure out the error. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is clear, sir. It is clear. It is clear. All right. Good. 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 That shows that we are progressing. We are progressing. So yeah, that is since we don't have any question, that's where we're going to be ending today's class. We are going to end today's class. So yeah. It's clear. I really got to this class. All right. Bye bye to everyone. See you in the next class. Thank you very much.